Hey, um, so this website looks really good to me. I really like the light color scheme. I like the spaciousness of it, and I didn't really see anything that was like a deal breaker or any serious issues with it. One thing I'm just noticing is this footer is sort of the layout is a little bit strange. Like the it's not clear where the center of the page is. Um, and there's a lot of empty space over here. So I'd probably make this footer like into thirds or maybe quarter like fourths, like divided in four or three, just so it's really obvious like what's going on with the layout there. One thing I did notice around a lot of the website is there's not a lot of borders or anything, which is good. I think with this nav bar, it's a little bit strange because uh, this image just sort of ends here. And I expect there to be like a border or a shadow there to sort of tell me that, like this is where the nav is and this is the rest of the page. Alternatively, you could just move the image down a bit. There's quite a lot of space between the lines in this title. It's almost a little bit too much, and on the other titles there's not quite enough space, so I would make the space between these a bit bigger and this one a bit less. These look really nice, these cards. Feels like there should be a bit of padding between this section and this section. This is just sort of a straight line. But it looks good. One thing here is that the typeface is very sort of Times New Roman-ish. Probably could go for something more with a bit more character, but it looks good. And possibly with the body text, you could have a sans serif font that could give a bit of contrast between the different bits of text. Usually these serif fonts look good for titles, and this would probably look better as sans serif. Again, I really like the spaciousness around everything, but it sort of looks a little bit like it's not clear where the edge of the page is. Like we have this starting here, and then this starts here, and this starts here. So it'd be nice to sort of align everything, or have some borders or something to make the structure a bit more clear. This looks good, but this little thing here is just sort of floating. It looks like it's not quite in the center, but that might be because the other things are not aligned. Yeah, these are sort of small things, but I think in general it looks really nice. This color scheme the orange is a little bit interesting with the contrast. I think you could probably go for complementary colors. I'm not sure what the complementary color of this blue would be. Yeah, but that's the home page. I like this big navbar items. They look great. I really like this sort of layering of the images and this little blue dots thing. It's really nice. But again, I feel like this is sort of right up against the edge of the page. Maybe there should be some white space on the left and maybe above as well. Looks really good though. There's a lot of empty space in here too. I think this would look good if it was just enough space for this content. One pretty major thing is that it's not responsive. So I tried viewing this site on mobile, and yeah, it appears very small on mobile. it's probably an easy fix, but yeah, it's not really readable on mobile at the moment without zooming in a lot. This all looks pretty good. I'm not sure what this like gray dot is over here. Sort of looked at first like an accordion, like I might be able to expand these sections, but it looks nice. I think these cards here could, first of all, they look nice with maybe a larger border radius on them, and a bit more contrast between the size of the, like maybe make the heading larger, maybe have a different color for, you know, you could make the values here, you could make like 45 bold and the thing bold to differentiate between the label and the value. That looks good. Yeah, this pagination, I would probably say like instead of having a slash, it's a little bit unclear. If you just write 10 per page, that would be much clearer. A slash could mean 10 divided by page, or when I first saw this, I just assumed it meant that I was on page 10. So this is a little bit ambiguous. Yeah, but it looks good. Calculator. This nav item, which just says calculator, is a little bit hard to know what it means because, yeah, it doesn't say what type of calculator it is. Looks good. I really like the use of images across the site. I think, yeah, all the images really bring it to life. That's interesting. Yeah, I think this is all pretty easy to use. This is like a nice blog. Yeah, this is a really good example of having good contrast. You've got like a really big title for these blog posts and a lot of differentiation between the different parts of this. So that's really good. Be nice if we could have more of that over here. Oh, there. Yeah, this looks great. Again, I think having some white space between the nav and the content would work better. It feels like I'm sort of imagining where the end of this nav is, and to have like content start immediately after it seems strange. This also seems a bit strange having this, like, this text is centered, but this is left aligned. Be nice to either center all of the text or left align all of it. This is interesting, like checkerboard pattern. It looks good. I think it's a bit confusing because you don't know which text to associate with which image. I guess an alternative would be to, instead of alternating, you could always have the image on the left and the text on the right, and then put a little bit of space in between each one, like having 4 cards or something like that. That way you can know, yeah, which image goes with which text. That's nice. It seems like these are basically tabs. It might be nice to, like, if they looked like visually more like tabs, and that way you'd know sort of what happens when you click on them. Even if it was just like having an underline on the current tab, it gives you a clue that like that's what it is. This is a really nice little banner. Yeah, that looks really good. Oh wow. Wow, this quiz is really cool. It, it looks really good. Like I like the contrast. I like this little like graphic over here. But again, I feel like things on the page are not lining up the way you would think. So this is sort of centered, which is like the place where it's aligned is sort of not consistent with the other pages. But I can see that if you made it much wider, it would look weird. It might be nice if when you click this, it had like a check mark or something. Yeah, that's really nice. Nice. Oh well, what just happened there? That's quite an interesting design. I feel like there might be a little bit too much going on here with like there's a lot of round corners, but then this one is not round. It might look better just to have all the corners rounded and a bit of like padding around this text. But this all looks really good. Yeah, again, I think having like this sans serif font looks really good, and this sans serif font looks really good, but this serif font on the button is, it might not be Times New Roman, but it looks very sort of like plain, and I think a serif font would look really nice there. And also when you hover over this button, the blue text on the green, there's not much contrast here, so it's not that good for readability, especially because they're both kind of blue-green, like similar color. Yeah, I think that's it. I think overall the website is very aesthetically pleasing. I think the biggest issues that I can see are around alignment, like in this footer, in this sort of section here. I think you could make use of some lines to sort of show that, oh, this is the midpoint and this is center aligned or something like that. If you centered all this text and had like a center line here that was right in the center, and perhaps, yeah, had the same amount of white space on the left and the right, something like that to sort of make the structure of it really clear. I think it would look better. And yeah, I think for me, there's something very strange about having this image like right up against the kind of imaginary nav border. Yeah. That's all the feedback I have.